Hey, good people, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got an interesting story for you. I need you to be on top of this. If you got money just lingering around, I suggest you do something with it. I've been telling folks to do this since Trump was elected, and folks still sitting on the money. So, check this story out. Let's get into it. It's on the Daily Hodl. It's a news and insight for the digital economy, which we need to pay attention to more often because we're going to a digital economy. The U.S. government may freeze American bank withdrawals as currency panic and capital flight mounts. This article came out on May 6th, 2023. Says hedge fund manager and macroeconomic expert Hugh Hendry just issued a major warning on the U.S. banking system and the American economy as a whole. In an interview on Bloomberg Markets, Hendry says mass panic and capital flight away from the U.S. banking sector is entirely justified. Hendry says a further decline in the M2 money supply, which in part tracks money in liquid checking accounts, could convince the U.S. government to step in and prevent citizens from taking their capital out of the banking system. Sometimes it's kind of relevant to panic. I would recommend you panic. You've seen the biggest waterfall decline in M2 right now. M2 is deposits, not loans. That's the deposits fleeing the system and going into money market funds. That could reach a crescendo where the Treasury and the Fed may have to come in and actually restrict your right as a U.S. citizen to pull money out of the U.S. banking sector. Hendry says capital flight from U.S. banks is not solely about fears on whether the FDIC will insure deposits above $250,000, and a blanket guarantee on deposits would not solve the problem. There is a deposit flight from the banking sector seeking yield. I fear that. I don't say this lightly, but in 1934, the Federal Reserve Act confiscated gold from U.S. citizens. We're at a point where the Fed and the Treasury officials, I'm sure, are having to consider a lock on U.S. bank deposits. When it comes to where Americans can place their capital amid the uncertainty, Hendry says his go-to is U.S. Treasuries and potentially Bitcoin. It's time to own the most reviled security in the universe, the ultra-long treasuries. I know you all think we've got an inflation problem. It was a supply shock, and a supply shock needs the manifestation of more and more bank printing of loans to propel it into the future. We're getting the opposite. The ultra longs are trading 2 to 3 standard deviations below the ETF. I've not got the bug, but Bitcoin is something I could conceive as an asset class that could trade 3 or 4 times higher in the next 5 years. There is no other asset class that I could make that determination. So I don't have any financial advice where, Bitcoin or, investing in treasury bonds or anything like that. I'm not giving any advice on that because we don't even know if America is going to be a whole country as it is today, 5 years from now. But what I do know is whatever you have in your possession is what you can try to control. And so, taking into consideration some of the things that were said in this article, You may want to consider positioning yourself with tangible items, tangible assets, tangible valuables, tangible currencies that you can trade or use when you need to in the event there's a bank run, the economy collapses, or if there's a panic and the government freezes withdrawals. It's a real possibility, and as we get closer to June, July, whenever this Fed Now is set to go live, it's going to be a problem. So again, I recommend if you have money, take it out of the bank. Only leave enough in there to pay your bills. Buy things that you can use that are tangible. Food, water, medicine, household items, hygiene products, things for your vehicle, extra tires, oil, um, you know, seeds, things you can trade or barter with. Figure out what your next gig is in this economy in the event the grid goes down or, there's war here, natural disasters, etc., job loss. You need to anticipate a lot of things because this is going to be bad. And when things finally implode, just in time business models will only have enough things in the supply chain for a few days, and then there will be nothing because the people that we trade with internationally are freezing us out. So that doesn't hurt the nation. It hurts us as individual citizens and consumers, people who have become dependent upon other people supplying our needs. So, take heed to this piece. It's not the first one that I've seen, but it's the first one that I've seen lately. And being that a lot of big banks have collapsed and are being consumed by larger banks like JP Chase Morgan, I would not be surprised if a big bank collapse is getting ready to come and people are going to panic. And when people start panicking and trying to pull their money out of the system, you know, doing the run on the banks, then people, um, have fear. And once that fear sets in and people start going to the stores and buying up stuff and driving up the prices of things and pulling out more money, it's just a vicious cycle. So eventually, either the economy will collapse or they will stop the withdrawals, which will enrage people and create a different type of situation, but a different, it's a situation no less. So just take heed, do what you can do, continue to prep, continue to pray. Do not have any fear. Do not let any of this information cause you to fear. We're just talking about it. We're talking it out. We're seeing it. We're acknowledging what is happening. We're not sticking our heads in the sand. And we are making plans to survive, to endure. We don't know how long this stuff is going to last. And you don't want to be out in the streets when people who do finally wake up and figure out, you know, things are bad. You don't want to be out in the street with those people. You want to be in your house, or you want to have what you need and have enough for a couple of weeks or a couple of months so that you can, figure out what you're going to do. So just prepare, people. That's all I can say. Continue to prepare, continue to pray, continue to repent, continue to seek uh, the Most High for wisdom, for guidance, for discernment, for peace, for safety, for knowledge, because we need as much knowledge as we can get right now. and for protection from this evil. This earth is just wicked right now, and there's no way we're going to be able to live through this without some supernatural covering. So continue to pray to the Messiah and ask him to bring us peace and keep us covered and provide all of our needs. Not our wants, but our needs. And y'all know what we need to survive. All right. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my Odyssey channel and my Rumble channel. They are in the description. A link to this article will be in the description, along with a couple of others talking about freezing American bank accounts. And just make sure that you are paying attention to what is happening, because a lot of things are happening and there are a lot of distractions going on all over the country. And while the news is talking about one thing, they're not talking about this. So when you hear all this news about all these shootings and all this violence and all this other nonsense, look in a different direction, because there's something that is coming out or something that's going on that you need to pay attention to, but they're not focusing on it. So this is one of those stories, and this is why I'm talking about it. All right, y'all, I'm Marla K. Again, please like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, share it with other people so that they can try to wake up. And if you have money in the bank, y'all, do something with it, because it's about to get real out here. All right, I am out.